Have you ever felt like something is draining your energy, even when your body seems rested? That feeling of waking up exhausted, for no apparent reason, as if the world is slowly sucking your peace away. This is no coincidence. There are places, people, and even routines that literally kill your spiritual energy. And the worst part is, you don't even realize it. It's like breathing contaminated air every day and thinking it's normal to live this way. Alan Watts said that the biggest mistake of modern man is to allow himself to be dominated by to-do, forgetting the to-be. Most people live in environments that fuel haste, fear, and comparison, and this silently erodes the spirit. You might think you're just tired from work, but in reality, you're trapped in an invisible cycle that saps your vital energy. Today you'll understand why certain places weigh you down, why some people drain your motivation, and how your environment shapes your spiritual state more than any other factor. And most importantly, you'll discover how to escape this, how to protect your energy and reconnect with what truly makes you feel alive. Get ready, because after this video, you'll never look at the places where you live, work, or spend time the same way again. Now that you understand how your surroundings shape your energy and how much it influences every decision in your life, something within you has already begun to shift. You're no longer living on autopilot. You're awakening. This knowledge isn't common. It's the kind of truth that changes the course of those who apply it. That's why it's worth giving back. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. Here, each new piece of content strengthens your mind, your energy, and your consciousness. Keep going. The next video will show you how to further elevate your energy level and attract what truly helps you grow. Have you ever noticed that there are places where, without understanding why, your energy simply disappears? You arrive feeling well and relaxed, and minutes later you feel a strange tiredness, a desire to leave, an uneasiness that doesn't come from your body, but from within. This happens because the environment speaks, and it speaks much more than the words of the people there. Each space has a vibration, an atmosphere that either nourishes your spirit or slowly suffocates it. And the worst part is that most people live so long in places that drain their souls that they end up thinking the problem lies within them. They think, I must be discouraged. Maybe I need a vacation. When in fact what's happening is a daily energy intoxication. Alan Watts explained that when human beings lose connection with the present moment, they also disconnect from their surroundings. And this creates a dangerous illusion that you can live anywhere, coexist with any type of energy, and remain well. But that's not how it works. The place where you spend most of your time becomes part of who you are. The office where you work, the house where you live, even the room where you sleep, all of this is constantly exchanging energy with you. That's why you sometimes feel like your home no longer welcomes you, that your routine seems suffocating, and that even when you try to relax, something inside you remains tense. Your environment may be shouting what you don't want to hear. There are places that kill your energy without making a sound. They are places of excess, excessive noise, haste, appearance, environments where people compete constantly, where no one really listens to each other, where having is more important than being. You can even try to adapt, you can pretend everything is fine, but deep down you feel something is wrong, because you can't grow spiritually in a place contaminated by superficiality. And the strangest thing is that when you finally step away, everything changes. Your breathing becomes lighter, your thoughts become clear, and even silence begins to have a different sound. It's as if your soul breathes again after so long. But do you know what drains someone's energy the most? Being in places where you have to hide who you are. When you spend all day controlling yourself to avoid displeasing, to fit in, to avoid appearing strange, the price is high. Every forced smile, every swallowed word, every silence when you want to speak, it all drains you. Watts said that modern society has taught us to wear masks all the time, and that this creates a profound disconnect between what we show and what we truly feel. This disconnect is what turns environments into invisible prisons. You may be surrounded by people, but if you have to pretend all the time, you are spiritually alone. Now think about it. How many times have you left a place feeling heavier than when you arrived? It could have been a family dinner, work, or even someone's house. This kind of heaviness doesn't come from outside. It's a reflection of your spirit trying to warn you that something isn't right. It's a silent warning that you need to protect your energy, because it's the foundation of everything. There's no point in seeking balance by meditating for 5 minutes a day if you spend the rest of your hours immersed in environments that drain you. It's like trying to heal yourself while simultaneously continuing to drink the poison. Most people don't realize it, but their environment has the power to reprogram their mental state. You may be a calm person, but if you live surrounded by anxious people, you'll start to act like them. You may be someone full of faith, but if you live in places where pessimism reigns, your faith will gradually weaken. This happens because human beings absorb collective energy like a sponge, and the more spiritually sensitive you are, the sooner you'll feel the effects. Watts called this unconscious contagion, the way we become similar to our surroundings. So, if the environment is sick, sooner or later, you'll get sick too. And here comes a truth that many people avoid facing. Sometimes what's killing your spiritual energy isn't the problem, it's the place. You try to solve your anxiety with medication, change your routine, change jobs, but you remain within the same energy. The body renews itself, but the soul remains in the same cycle. And that's why many fail to move forward, because they're still trying to flourish in arid soil. Have you ever noticed how different it is to be in a place that inspires you? A simple park, a quiet church, a house filled with natural light, all these spaces do something to you. And it's not all in your head. The right environment rebalances your energy field and awakens the best within you. So, it's important to ask yourself an honest question. Does the place where you spend the most time nourish you or drain you? This includes not only the physical space, but the emotional and spiritual environment of the people around you. Sometimes the most toxic environment isn't the office, but the group of people you try to fit in with. And here's a simple exercise that can change a lot. Notice how you feel when you leave each environment. If fatigue outweighs satisfaction, something needs to be rethought. Comment on the word environment here in the comments so I know that you understood this point and are aware of the power that your surroundings have over your energy. Alan Watts believed that human beings find peace when they learn to choose where to place their presence. Because presence is what gives life to a place, not the other way around. But when you live distracted, your energy ends up being hijacked by places that don't deserve you. And the worst part is that when this happens for too long, you begin to confuse your exhaustion with your identity. You think it's just how it is, when in reality you've just been in the wrong place for too long. But there's something even deeper behind this, something most people don't even realize. A silent factor that means even seemingly peaceful places can hide an energy that saps your spiritual balance. And that's what we'll talk about next. You know that kind of person who walks into a room and suddenly everything seems heavy. The mood changes, the laughter fades, and even the air feels different. Maybe you felt this way, being close to someone and without understanding why, leaving exhausted, with a headache, or even in a bad mood. This happens because not every connection is an exchange. Some are true energy thefts. Alan Watts said that most people live unconsciously, disconnected from themselves, and that's precisely why they unconsciously seek to feed off the energy of others. When a person doesn't cultivate their own inner light, they need to drain it from those who still shine. These energy thieves aren't always malicious. Sometimes they're people close to you, from family, from work, even longtime friends. But the pattern is always the same. You leave them feeling drained. They're the people who complain about everything, who turn every conversation into drama, who make you feel guilty for feeling well. They have the power to turn your joy into a burden, and the more you try to help, the more you deplete yourself. Watts often talked about the mistake of trying to save others when we haven't yet saved ourselves. And this is true, because when you give more of yourself than you can, you begin to lose yourself. The problem is that most spiritually sensitive people have huge hearts. They believe they need to be available, to listen to everyone, to comfort, to help. But this turns into a dangerous cycle, because the more you give, the more these people ask for. And it's not help they want, it's your energy. They feed on your presence, your enthusiasm, your balance. And when you finally try to walk away, they make you feel selfish, as if taking care of yourself were a mistake. This is how many good people end up feeling guilty about setting boundaries. But Watts said something powerful. You are not selfish for protecting yourself. You are wise for preserving what is sacred. And what's more sacred than your spiritual energy? It's what keeps your mind clear, your heart open, and your purpose alive. Without it, you become vulnerable to the chaos of others. That's why sometimes the simple act of being around someone can completely change your emotional state. Because energy is contagious, and when you're surrounded by people who live in victim mode, complaining, criticizing, or spreading negativity, your soul adapts accordingly. You start to think harder, feel more fear, react faster. Little by little, your shine fades. But here's the thing. You don't have to cut everyone out of your life, nor run away from the world to protect yourself. The secret lies in recognizing the type of energy each person awakens in you. Alan Watts said that awareness is true protection. When you are present, attentive, connected to your own center, nothing hits you as hard, because you stop reacting automatically. Instead of absorbing the other person's energy, you observe it, and this shift alone changes everything. It's as if you've placed a filter between your heart and the external chaos. Pay attention. People who drain your energy often subtly test your limits. They come with harmless conversation, but soon they're complaining about life, asking for advice they never follow, or casting you as their therapist. Others do the opposite. They provoke you, criticize you, make you doubt yourself, and the more you defend yourself, the more energy you lose. These dynamics are old, unconscious, and almost always repeat themselves until you say, enough. The problem is that most take a while to realize it, because they think that's just how it is, that every relationship has its ups and downs. But it shouldn't be that way. Healthy relationships nourish you. Toxic relationships drain you. Now, a practical tip that can change everything. Notice how you feel after talking to someone. If the weight is greater than the lightness, that's already a sign, and it's a sign you can't continue to ignore. Because ignoring it is like leaving the tap running while trying to fill your energy bucket. Comment on the word protection down here so I know you understand the value of taking care of your energy and are ready to set real limits. And there's more. Energy thieves aren't just found in people. They also hide in the habits you repeat every day, without realizing it. Small behaviors that seem harmless, but that gradually drain your inner strength and disconnect you from what really matters. And it's precisely these silent habits that we'll talk about next. Have you ever noticed that sometimes what tires you most isn't what you do, but what you repeat without realizing it? It's the small habits, those automatic gestures that seem harmless, but drain you from the inside. It's waking up and immediately grabbing your phone, opening social media, and being bombarded with comparisons. It's overloading yourself with tasks all day and ending up feeling like nothing really got done. It's saying, everything's fine, when it clearly isn't. All of this creates a kind of internal noise that kills your spiritual energy without you even realizing it. And the worst part is, you get used to it. You start to think it's normal to live tired, distracted, and empty. Alan Watts said that the greatest vice of modern society is doing without awareness. We live constantly busy but rarely present. We wake up on autopilot, work on autopilot, even rest on autopilot, watching anything, scrolling, escaping silence. And it is precisely in this silence that balance resides. When you escape it, you escape yourself. Watts said that human beings have disconnected from now, and that's why you live exhausted, trying to chase a future that never arrives. This kind of life creates an invisible cycle. The more you try to fill the void, the emptier you feel. These soul-draining habits are treacherous because they seem ordinary. Who hasn't spent hours scrolling through their phone, comparing their own life to others, or saying yes to everything just to avoid conflict? But every forced yes, every minute wasted in distraction, every negative thought you harbor, is a piece of your energy slipping away. Watts said the secret isn't to fight these habits, but to realize what they're trying to hide. Sometimes distraction is an escape from pain, and overdoing it is an attempt to avoid facing the void. But while you're running away, your soul keeps screaming for attention. Have you ever found yourself exhausted without having accomplished anything worthwhile? This is a sign that you're wasting energy on things that don't nourish you. When your focus is always on what's missing, what others think, or what could go wrong, you create an internal vibration of scarcity, and this vibration is all-consuming. Watts said that modern humans suffer from believing they need to be something all the time, instead of simply to be, and that's why the more you try to conform to expectations, the further you become from your essence. And when you move away from who you truly are, you lose control of your own energy. But there's one detail almost no one talks about. Constant self-criticism is one of the most destructive habits there is. You know that voice that tells you you're not good enough, you should be further along, you haven't done enough. This voice is like a spiritual leak. It saps the energy you should be using to create, love, rest, and live. Watts explained that the human mind has been conditioned to constantly compare itself, and that true awakening begins when you realize you don't need to prove anything to anyone, not even yourself. Peace comes not when you become perfect, but when you stop punishing yourself for not being. Another habit that destroys spiritual energy is carrying the past on your shoulders, reliving hurts, mistakes, and guilt. The mind loves to replay these scenes because it keeps the ego in control. But while you relive what's already past, your energy gets trapped in what's already dead. It's like trying to light a fire with ashes. Watts said that the present is the only place where life truly happens, but most people are so lost between what was and what isn't yet that they forget to live in the now. And the further you distance yourself from the present, the more exhausted your body becomes, the more weakened your soul becomes. Think about it. How many times have you ended the day with your head full, but without feeling like you've truly lived? This happens because you've spent more time reacting than existing. Reacting to notifications, to problems, to emotions that aren't even yours. This constant reactivity is a silent energy thief. Watts said that the secret to life is noticing the space between stimulus and response. That's where freedom lies. When you learn to breathe before reacting, you begin to regain control of your energy. And there's something few people realize. Spirituality isn't something distant. It's a daily practice. It's in the way you get up, talk to people, manage your body, and manage time. Spirituality isn't about meditating for an hour a day, but about being fully present in each moment. Watts said that living consciously is the greatest spiritual act there is, because it transforms the ordinary into the sacred. And that's exactly what automatic habits rob you of, the awareness of being alive. So it's important to start observing yourself, not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Understand what drains you and what recharges you. Sometimes you just need to change a routine, reduce a distraction, create a space for silence in your day, and everything starts to change. Comment on the word conscience here in the comments, so I know you understand that true power lies in perceiving, not in controlling. And it's curious how when you start changing these habits, something strange happens. The people and places that once seemed normal start to bother you. You feel like something doesn't fit anymore, that what once fulfilled you now feels empty. It's a sign that your energy is shifting, and that's when the next step of the journey begins to reveal itself. Have you ever noticed that when silence arrives, most people try to escape? They turn on the TV, put on some music, open their cell phones, and start a conversation. It's as if silence were an enemy, a dangerous space where something frightening might emerge. But what many people don't understand is that silence doesn't bring anything new. It only reveals what was already inside. It's there, when everything goes quiet, that you hear what the noise of the world has long been hiding. And that's precisely why silence is disturbing, because it forces you to face yourself. Alan Watts said that modern humans fear stillness, because, deep down, they fear finding themselves. Amidst the noise, you can distract yourself from what really hurts. It's easy to get caught up in your phone, your work, and other people's opinions. But when the noise fades, your mind loses anything to use as distraction, and what's left is you. No filter, no mask, no excuses, and that's when most people give up. Because facing your own soul is harder than facing any external problem. Watts explained that silence is the most honest mirror there is. It shows who you really are, what you're feeling, and how far you've strayed from your essence. And that's why it's so powerful. But today's world doesn't teach you to listen to silence. On the contrary, it teaches you to run from it. Everything around you is designed to keep you busy, stimulated, and reactive. But spiritual energy needs space to renew itself, and silence is that space. It's not empty, it's fertile. It's in silence that ideas emerge, emotions are organized, and the spirit grows stronger. Watts said the mind is like water. The more you stir it, the murkier it becomes. But when you leave it alone, it becomes clear. That's what silence is, the rest that allows you to see the depths. Have you ever tried spending time in complete silence? No music, no notifications, no distractions, At first it feels strange. It creates a feeling of discomfort, even boredom, but little by little, something changes. You begin to perceive sounds you'd never heard before, thoughts that were hidden, subtle, sensations that the noise had muffled. And then something even more profound happens. Your body relaxes, your breathing changes, and your mind begins to slow down. It's as if new energy enters, as if what was blocked finally begins to flow. Watts believed that silence is the bridge between the external and internal worlds. It's the point where you come home. But for that to happen, you need to relearn how to be alone. And that scares a lot of people, because when you're alone, you realize how accustomed you've become to depending on the presence of others to feel good. Watts said that solitude is one of the most important tests of spiritual life. It separates those who need distraction to exist from those who have learned to exist within themselves. And here's a hard but necessary truth. Those who can't stand their own silence will hardly find peace, because peace doesn't come from outside. It begins the moment the inner noise quiets. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the quietest people are the most centered? It's because they've learned to transform silence into strength. They don't run away from stillness. They dwell in it. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's presence. Watts said that when you connect with silence, you stop being a body agitated in the world and become the very space where the world happens. This means you stop reacting to everything and start observing. And this is where your spiritual energy regenerates. It's in silence that chaos is organized, fear dissolves, and clarity emerges. But there's an important detail. True silence isn't just the absence of sound, but the absence of mental noise. It's possible to be alone in a room and still be in complete turmoil inside. Thoughts, memories, worries, inner voices. Watts said that true silence begins when the mind stops arguing with reality, when you accept the moment as it is without trying to change anything. In that instant, the weight disappears, and what's left is something noise could never give you: serenity. So the next time silence bothers you, don't run away. Listen to what it wants to tell you. Sometimes it's just trying to show you what needs healing. Other times, it's guiding you to a new path, one that can only be seen when the world falls silent. And that's why silence is the turning point for those seeking spiritual balance. Watts said that enlightenment is not a state of ecstasy, but of tranquility. It's when you realize you don't need to chase peace. It's always been there, waiting for you to stop chasing. Comment on the word silence here in the comments so I know you understand the power that exists in this space between one thought and another. And when you begin to understand the value of silence, something fascinating happens. Your perception changes. You begin to feel the energy of people, places, and even situations in a way you never had before. It's as if your soul gains a new meaning, and that's what we'll talk about next. Once you learn to be silent, everything changes. Suddenly, you begin to feel things that previously went unnoticed. The presence of someone who makes you uncomfortable, an environment that feels heavy for no reason, or even a conversation that, even with kind words, leaves you with a strange feeling. This isn't imagination. It's your energy becoming more awakened. Alan Watts said that when human beings begin to reconnect with the present, they begin to see with their inner eye, the one that perceives the truth behind appearances. And this is where many people get scared, because when consciousness expands, the world changes colors. What once seemed normal now feels false. What once went unnoticed now bothers you. And it's not that the world has changed, it's that you've finally begun to see. It's curious how spiritual sensitivity works. At first it feels like a burden. You begin to perceive lies, hidden intentions, heavy energies, and wonder, why do I feel all this? But in fact, this is a sign of growth. Watts said that true wisdom lies not in running away from pain, but in learning to observe it without letting it overwhelm you. When your energy awakens, you understand that feeling deeply is not a weakness, it's a power. It's as if the universe gives you an invisible compass, and it begins to point out exactly where you should or shouldn't be. Have you ever noticed that, after a period of self-discovery, some people and places simply stop making sense? It's not that you've become better than them, it's that your vibration has changed. It's like changing radio stations. You no longer pick up the same frequency. And that's why certain places tire you out, while others nourish you. It's the energy saying, This isn't your place anymore. Watts talked a lot about this, that life is made of cycles, and that resisting change is what causes suffering. When you try to remain where your soul no longer fits, the price is spiritual exhaustion. Many people, upon realizing this new sensitivity, begin to doubt themselves. They think they're becoming fragile, too emotional, that everything affects them. But the truth is that sensitivity is the first sign of an awakened soul, and an awakened soul feels everything, the beautiful and the painful. Watts said it's impossible to be conscious and at the same time indifferent. Therefore, the more you grow spiritually, the more empathetic and observant you become. You notice when a word carries weight, when a smile is fake, when an environment is charged, and this perception is what protects you, because while others see with their eyes, you begin to see with your soul. But there's a turning point here. Sensitivity needs to be accompanied by maturity. Feeling everything doesn't mean carrying everything. Watts taught that wisdom lies in allowing things to pass through you without overpowering you. When you learn to observe energies without absorbing them, you begin to live much more lightly. You understand that not everything is personal, that not every emotion is yours, and that sometimes what you feel is just a reflection of the environment. This realization changes everything, because it gives you power over your own vibration. Think about it. How many times have you felt bad without knowing why? Maybe you walked into a room, received a message, or talked to someone, and suddenly your mood changed. This is your energy reacting. It perceives what the eyes don't see. Watts said that we are moving, vibrational fields, and that every thought, emotion, and word creates ripples that affect others. When you become aware of this, you begin to choose more carefully where you place your attention, because where attention goes, energy flows. And if you give attention to places, people, or subjects that drain you, you are giving away your most precious energy. This is where true power begins, when you stop reacting and start choosing. You can't control what you feel, but you can choose what you feed, and it's this choice that protects you. Watts said that inner peace comes when you understand that you don't need to fight the world, you just need to not let it pull you down. And this is true spiritual freedom, when you feel everything, but nothing holds you back. Now that you understand how your energy perceives what the eyes don't, everything starts to make more sense, doesn't it? You've begun to see what previously confused you, why certain places tire you, why some people drain you, and why silence is sometimes the only answer your soul needs. This knowledge awakens something powerful within you, awareness, and that's what transforms. This video helped you realize that protecting your energy isn't weakness, it's wisdom. That feeling more isn't a burden, it's a gift. And now what made a difference for you can reach even more people. Like and subscribe to the channel. That's how this message reaches others who, like you, are tired of living drained and want to understand what's behind this invisible fatigue. Comment on the word energy below so I know you've felt this transformation. And stay tuned, because the next video will show you the next step in this journey. How to raise this vibration and transform this new awareness into real spiritual strength. That's when things really start to change.